Investigating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the John H. Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the Anomic Age, and I am your humble host, John H., hailing proudly from the coastal plains of the Old North State. I will be your tour guide this evening as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global Luciferian death cult of pedophiles. Thanks ever so much for being with me this evening. I usually say I'll take you into the wee hours of the AM, but it looks like tonight I'll be taking you well into the wee hours of the AM tonight. I'm supposed to start at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so if you are still hanging in there with me in the chat or with me in the world, wherever you might happen to be, thank you for hanging in there. I won't bore you with the details, but it looks a lot like this. Yeah, my microphone cord, I guess, just went bluey right when I was ready to do the show, which was pretty awesome. So then I went on sort of a snipe hunt of looking for the problem and finally just went, I hope this works, and thankfully it did. So thank you, Lord, so much for your assistance. Man, that being said, check out anomicage.com if you've not already done so. Please like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions, paypal.me/anomicage, patreon.com/anomicage as well. Those are the best ways that you can help me out and all that good stuff. If you're looking at the webpage, which I hope that you are, you can scroll on down here and donate with the Cash App. Hit me up and become a patron. Donate that way. Buy me a cup of coffee. And if you are so inclined, you can send me Satoshis vis-a-vis the lightning link right there on y'all screen. So that's there too. And if you want some free stuff, we got all those links at the bottom. Free iPhone app, free Android app, subscribe by email link, and so much more. It's all right there at anomicage.com. So feel free to do that if you would, if you'd like, if you shall, if you can, if you may. All that. Definitely in a bit of a controlled rage a minute ago. So I'm glad the crisis has been averted. Oh my goodness gracious, sakes alive. All right, folks. We'll jump into the deep end of the pool, I guess. Title of tonight's episode is Self-Destruction. Hope you like the graphics. I spent quite a bit of time on that one, just sort of making that look lovely. I'm not at all liking the looks of my Rumble feed right now. I think that's looking ever so not so lovely. So I don't know. We'll have to work on that. I ain't trying to leave the Rumble people looking all pixelated and hanging. That looks terrible. Anyway, so yeah, that's the deal, folks. Self-Destruction is the title of tonight's episode. It's like that old hip-hop song. What's that song? Self-Destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. I don't know who did that. Who was that? I don't know. If you know who did the Self-Destruction song, shoot me a line on it. Was that KRS-One? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, shoot that down in the chat, if you will. Figure out who Self-Destruction is. So we're going to get into self-destruction tonight. Most notably, the self-destruction of, I would assume to be, the Trump regime. I don't know what in the devil is going on. It's just like when you think things can't get any dumber, alas, Trump baby pulls something else out of his magic hat and it just looks more absurd. And keep in mind, I'm not here to lambaste the man. I voted for him twice, 3 times actually. So, yeah, we all realize he's the best of the options that were proverbially laid on the table before us, but that does not mean that, that things are well. And I refuse to do, I guess, what Alex Jones wants everybody to do, which is just whistle past the graveyard and only talk about the positive and never talk about the negative and just pretend in the land of make-believe on the magic trolley in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood that it's all above board, because I'm sorry to tell you folks, we are way below deck. way, wiggity way below deck. So we'll cover some of those below deck things this evening. I am pretty much just going to have a media blitz, just like the old Germs song. That's kind of like the only Germs song I like is media blitz. And if I could somehow squeeze the rights into the show with mucho dinero, I'd be happy to play media blitz for you right now. But since I don't, you'll have to hum along or look it up on your own. But we're going to cover the media blitz a little bit tonight. So we'll just sort of run down the proverbial rabbit hole of news. I'll link it all back in the end, and I hope it'll make sense to you. That's what we shall do. So we'll kick things off with this first clip. I'm seriously just irked by how bad the darn feed looks. I don't know why it looks so cruddy on Rumble. I apologize to the people on Rumble. It don't look that bad on my other feeds. So if you're looking at Patriots Prayer, the Patriots Prayer Podcast. Yeah, if you're looking at that right now, my feed looks like complete manure. So feel free to find me on YouTube or the Facebook, or that's kind of it right now. We're streaming on like 6 different things, but those are the ones that I can assure you don't look as pixelated. I don't know what the devil's happening on there. I got several little things aren't going well with the stream, when I started things off, but that was after the cascade of turds that was the audio debacle. So who knows? I know it looks better on the other feed, so I'm sorry to those folks in the Patriots Prayer Podcasts feed on the Rumble. Not trying to sway you into another place, but I'm saying you can find better looking versions on YouTube and Facebook. And assuredly on my social media links that you can find at anomicage.com. Enough of me yammering. Somebody's going, stop your yammering, John. To which I say, something I won't say right now. So we're going to run by this today. This is what I found hysterical. I was actually listening to a bunch of other stuff before the show, and I happened to be listening to AJ talk about how we have to be positive and everything's wonderful and just don't talk about the negative. And I thought, man. And then he went on to say, he's gonna meet with these leaders. Yeah, the leaders that Trump is, I guess he's not meeting with them anymore. This was a couple hours ago. But the proverbial quote unquote leaders that he's meeting with, these are the U.S. tech leaders meet. Yeah, we're talking about Bill Gates. Bill Gates, the slime ball of slime balls. He's met with this piece of human phlegm now 3 times now since he's taken Trump regime take 2 has happened. So I guess this is the 3rd time. Now he's giving these phlegm bags a big dinner. So we got Mark Zuckerberg. Remember this piece of human waste that was all about the censorship and all about the vaccine and pushing and peddling and prodding all sorts of propaganda 6 ways from Sunday, 8 days a week? Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. The people that, I guess the proverbial government wants you to believe Mark Zuckerberg came up with Facebook, right? Because remember that 2010 film, what was it? The Social Network. Yeah, the very much codified and sanitized for your protection film that laid out this hilarious narrative, like Mark the Cuck Zuckerberg somehow pulled Facebook out of his proverbial rear end in his college dorm. Him and some other guys who, of course, just went by the wayside, I guess. They just got bought out or shafted out of the whole deal. Yeah, it wouldn't be the CIA version called LifeLog, would it? The same version that was live up until Facebook went live on the same day and the same time. LifeLog, the CIA version of Facebook, that was just a data gathering tool that everybody just seemed to forget about. because, of course, Mark Zuckerberg, some guy in his dorm room, pulled Facebook out of his behind. And, of course, that was no problem because, it was everybody would just, sure, let's just let this, youngster take over this multimedia conglomerate, right? Yeah, nothing to do with LifeLog. It's all this guy in his dorm, right? Mm-hmm. So he's meeting with this censorship guru of poo-poo, Zuckerberg, and of course, Bill Gates, the living legend of filth. This is the guy that wants to murder you and your family. This guy comes from a lineage of eugenicists. Dear old mom, Planned Parenthood. Dear old dad. I mean, the same thing. Planned Parenthood all over the place, man. What was it? Mom was, the IBM lady. And then dear old dad was Planned Parenthood. But they were both working with Planned Parenthood, folks. Planned Parenthood. Remember that? Margaret Sanger, big-time eugenicist, Black Weeds, the Negro Project, pen pals with Adolf. That joker? Yeah, that's the guy that the Prez ate with now 3 times, I guess. Well, met with 3 times. Now he's using your taxpayer dollars to feed this flounder-faced fool. That's old Mark the Cuck and old Bill Gates meeting with these piles of pus tonight on your dime. Why, John? Why would he meet me? Exactly. Why would he be meeting with these people that should be tried, prosecuted, and in my humble opinion, for their crimes executed? Bill Gates, the guy who's buying up your farmland all over the United States, particularly here in the old North State of North Carolina. Yeah, that's Bill Gates, the guy who's weaponizing mosquitoes. The guy who can't even go to India because his polio vaccines paralyzed so many people. That's Bill Gates, this war criminal, folks. This is who we're meeting with, and I just got to ask why. I would be meeting with him to go, hey, I got some handcuffs in your size. Here, you and Zuck the Cuck just handcuff yourselves, and we'll see if he can whisk you away to D.C. Guantanamo like we did the January 6th people. But I know darn well that's not going to happen. Oh, my goodness. I haven't even gotten into the clip. Let's play the clip because I've talked over myself. Here we go. I'll stop talking. You'll just hit the haste and the hose.
We're giving away all the wonderful money that Satya's good work has helped multiply a lot. But I think the thing that ties my first career that I still spend some time on because AI is so phenomenal, and my second career is innovation, innovating in health in areas like vaccines or gene editing, and the president and I are talking about taking American innovation to the next level to cure and even eradicate some of these diseases. He mentioned polio, which is one that we're close. We don't need new science on that one. For some like HIV and sickle cell, we do need new science, but the U.S. Has the seeds that in the same way that Warp Speed took those seeds and put them together, I think something fantastic can be done. AI for our foundation is that we want a doctor for everyone in Africa through AI. We want farmers to have incredible advice and kids to have a chance to learn. So the work being done by the people at this table is changing the world. It's coming fast, so it's great. We all get together and talk about how the U.S. can lead in this key area and apply it even to the poorest outside the U.S. as well as to our great citizens. So thank you for incredible leadership,
it's for your
including
safety.
getting
He
this
loves
group
you.
together.
Where's this pink sweater, for heaven's sakes? It's so nauseating listening to this flimbag talk. It is just so sick, man. Yeah, this is the guy who was out there saying, well, that's the death panel and we can't have that conversation. Remember that clip where he's talking about killing everybody? Eugenicist scumbag. Complete pile of human garbage. So there's that, that's pretty cool. But wait, there's more. The media blitz continues, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Humans of all ages, those of you who still identify as human. Here we go. We got this one. This is this is what really irked me, rubbed me the wrong way, made me want to throw up this past week here. Because it's like Trump is somehow stuck on stupid with Operation Warp Speed, and now with the newest incarnation of stuck on stupid, the Epstein folks. That's just a big Democratic farfignugan. That's just a big pile of nothing. It's a nothing burger, you know? I mean, good night, nurse. Talk about completely tone deaf. And I saw somebody, I can't remember. I think it was on the Twitter. I know I'm supposed to call it X now, but I'm not that cool. So on the Twitter, somebody was, I guess it was one of the cult members on the right that was like, they can't admit when anything's wrong. You know, two things can't be correct at the same time. Like, he's the best choice. He's still doing stuff that's really wrong. Anyway, they were like, why are all the major networks covering these Epstein victims? Oh, because it's a Democratic hoax. You know, that was like the inference made on the post. And I was like, you know, it might actually be because it's one of the biggest news topics, I'd say, in the last 20 years. The Epstein files, the lists linking these trafficked children, linking all these various nefarious acts, and linking it all into celebrities and politicians. And, of course, Israel. But I guess we're just not allowed to have that conversation. You can't actually be conservative, Christian, patriotic, whatever you want to say, and actually still hold these two values. I mean, is that not the dumbest thing in the world? Okay, so let's listen to this lady talk, and I'll give you my 2 cents, and then we'll listen to Mr. T talk again. Here we go. Let's hit it.
Transparency is justice. Release the files, end the secrecy, and stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law.
I mean, isn't that just the most basic of human facts? I mean, this should be, like, bipartisan. Like, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. But, of course, the tone deaf and the cult members like, I don't know what this is all or nothing burger. This is...
And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that.
What a concept, folks. What a blipping concept. I think that's kind of what the proverbial we as a people need to do. It should be that Spartacus moment. This young lady is correct. I'm saying young. She looks younger than me. I don't know. Could be older than me. Who knows? This lady's correct in saying that they have the names and they can release the lists as well. What a concept. You don't need the government to release the blame list in the first place. I would suggest, though, to this young lady and all these other people that are going to come out with this, make it the Spartacus effect, because if you don't, you'll have a bunch of people end up in accidents, end up with suicides, end up developing turbo cancer, end up falling off a bridge, end up, slipping in the shower, a la the Clinton crime syndicate. So I would suggest everybody that has any sort of inclination or lists that they've compiled to release them. All these victims should be releasing lists simultaneously. Should be that sort of, just in case said person slips in the shower, then this list is getting dropped. Just in case somebody has a walking off the stairs, slip on a banana peel incident, this list gets dropped. So it all needs to come out, folks. Don't wait on the government. The government's never going to help you. The government is there to kill you. That's why flimbags like Bill Gates are in the White House right now. It's just unbelievable that people still think that they have your best interest at heart. The police are going to protect you. The military is there to save you. None of this is congruent with reality. I mean, there was a great cartoon. I don't know if it was a Ben Garrison cartoon or if it was someone else, but it was basically to the effect that if the military was really there protecting our freedoms, they'd be in D.C. dragging the people persecuting and inhibiting our freedoms out and handling them like they would allegedly the Taliban, ISIS, Hamas, or whatever these other lame-brained pajama-wearing boobs that are supposed to be spooks in the night. But alas, they're not. They're in foreign lands nobody could find on a map. We don't know why they're there, but we know they're getting billions upon billions of our tax dollars, and they're out there basically protecting poppy fields and shaking down a bunch of people that ain't even close to a major world power. It's really hilarious when you think about it. It's not hilarious, but I mean, it's at a certain point, it kind of is. Let's move on. Because we've got Trump talking about this. I mean, this is what we all came to see, right?
There have been survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking at a press conference on Capitol Hill. They're calling for these case files, these documents to be released. And Thomas Massey, who was sponsoring a discharge position to get the House to vote on releasing those documents, says he doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow-walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir?
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
I would argue that would be his greatest achievement. If he could release every single bit of these lists. Don't just give people a stack of frickin' papers a la the Patriot Act. Actually have a detailed list. And then you arrest, try, and prosecute the criminals. But that's never going to happen. And you know why it's never going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's not going to happen because it's going to involve, and otherwise take away from the at least two branches of government. Okay? At the very least. And that's not even mentioning these Hollywood stooges and the celebrities and the musicians and the royal family. And what's that nation across the sea? Oh, your greatest ally, John. You've misspoke. Palantir might get you. Don't ever say anything disparaging about our greatest ally. Palantir will swoop in and get you. And if that ain't the case, Pirro will get you. Remember Janine Pirro? She's going to prosecute and take everybody out that dares to even think about harming anybody that would say anything even remotely negative about. You know who. Mm-hmm. End up like that chick at Florida State. That girl's getting, I guess, expelled, kicked off campus, branded with the scarlet. I guess it wouldn't be an A. What would it be? A J? She's branded with a scarlet J. Because she dared to say something disparaging. Oh, she assaulted somebody. Really? Would she, like, push some little stick boy with a camera? I guess. I guess that's paramount to assault, like the, what was that federal agent that got hit with a sandwich or something there? Oh, my gosh. He was assaulted. Oh, my goodness. Rent garments, gnash teeth. Oh, yeah, good. They got him again. Ooh. Anyway, what a bunch of nothing. This one's just comical. I thought I'd throw it in the mix just because. Just because of how hilarious this is. And this cracks me up because you got this guy, like, full on giving you this big, blown up on the tripod. And he's speaking like this is the most serious thing in the world. It's like you got the comedian and you got the straight character, and the guy in the chair is legitimately just sitting there with a huge blown up image from the movie Alien behind him. And he's sitting there like he's just chilling. Just another day at the office. We got to listen to this because it's too funny for words. Here we go. I'm going to listen to it a little bit.
This is a photograph of the alien from the movie Alien.
This guy on the side is killing me.
This is what you could end up looking like if you eat some of the raw, frozen shrimp being sent to the United States by other countries. Now, let me tell you what I'm talking about.
Let me tell you what I'm talking about.
In late August, the FDA found that raw frozen shrimp from Indonesia was being sold in Walmart. Specifically in Walmart stores in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Texas, and West Virginia. It was being sold under the Walmart label called...
The guy on the side's awesome. Oh, man, the guy on the side is my hero. That guy is straight-faced throughout this whole diatribe. This reminds me of the Allen Iverson thing. This whole thing, the man's talking about practice. In this case, the man's talking about shrimp. Talking about shrimp. Radioactive shrimp. The hilarity upon hilarities is that virtually all the states that he just rattled off have a coastline, which means, here in the old North side, I know a little something about a coastline. Those states have ample access to shrimp. Yeah, shrimp. Camarones. See? ¿Entiendes, no? Yeah, they got the camarones. But yet we are importing shrimp. I guess. I mean, Walmart's importing shrimp. I don't even know why anyone would go to Walmart unless you just want to test your gag reflex or test, your likelihood to assault somebody or get assaulted, for heaven's sake. You've seen the videos. Man, people just going extra nutty in Walmart. That's like the bottom rung. When I was a kid, it was Kmart and Family Dollar. That's the kind of places that people would make fun of your clothes and stuff. And then Walmart, and when it came on the scene, it was kind of like a step up. It was kind of like, ooh, it's bougie trash. Man, now it's gone to full bore, classless, low class, bottom feeder trash. I can't even stand going to Walmart. Whenever I have to go, I try to I say a prayer as I'm walking in. I was like, let's make this happen, Lord. Please help me get in and out without having an episode or getting assaulted or, going into the tank or something. So, yeah, that's the funny of this whole thing. Radioactive shrimp, folks. That's really the moral of this story. Why are we importing shrimp in the first place? Anybody miss Forrest Gump? Yeah, that Bubba Gump thing? I mean, that's real. All these coastal areas have shrimp. I mean, granted, they may have radioactive shrimp that actually is local radioactive shrimp. I don't know. I mean, just speaking, most of those states also have nuclear power plants, which, of course, have to be cooled with liquid, which means they're obviously on the coastline. I mean, I can only say that about, a nuclear plant is kind of close by. But I digress. So, nuclear shrimp. We are importing nuclear shrimp when we could just do our own deal, import our own domestic crop of nuclear shrimp and radiate the public and give it to them under the guise of, good. You can get this at Walmart, probably buy with your EBT card. Go in there with your bulletproof vest or your bonnet, your slippers, your robe, no shoes, no clothes. I mean, good night, nurse. Nobody knows what you're going to see in Walmart. The sad thing is that they don't do the 24-hour deal anymore after the COVID hoax, because that was kind of the best time to go into Walmart. It's like after 2, because at least you would see still common street trash, but at least a lower amount of complete human garbage. So, there's that. All right. I know you don't want to hear me talk. You want to hear a little bit about North Carolina. Oh yeah, come on and raise up. We're gonna play this one for you because I often do make fun of what I say as the formerly great state of North Carolina. It's been former for I guess, most of my life. But we'll give you a little North Carolina news. Here we go.
Billions of dollars in state funds have been found unspent. State Treasurer Brad Briner says $170 million was found as part of a detailed review of the state's accounts. Briner says the cash had been sitting idle for years and could be put to good use. He says they intend to reduce outstanding debt and improve the fiscal health of the state.
All right, I'll stop it there. There's not much more to say on this one. $170 million North Carolina has misplaced. And she even underscored this from the treasurer, Brad Briner. It's been missing for years. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. 170 million. I mean, again, I said this on the last show. Maybe there's some real affluent chaps out there listening to this show. But I'm here to tell you, 170 million would put me in happy land for my eternal life. Into the afterlife. My family would be happy. Into their afterlife. 170 million bucks that the state of NC just, well, I don't know what happened to it. You know, it's like the monies that disappeared when the 9/11 hoax popped off. I don't know where all these trillions of dollars went. Whoopsie. The 9/11 hoax. These terrorists came in and blew up these monuments, and then a plane went into D.C., and then the Shanksville plane. If you believe anything happened in Shanksville like a plane, you are, how's that song go? You got some oceanfront property in Arizona. Yeah, I got something for you. Anyway, so yeah, 170 million. NC is just like, all right. At least they found it, I guess. That begs the question to me, how much more missing money have we got just floating around in NC? It's just hysterical, folks. And they didn't say anything, yo, why don't we just do away with the state income tax? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that actually make this state a destination for people that aren't human garbage? Just do away with the state income tax? That'd be pretty rad. Or we could do away with the sales tax. That'd be pretty nice also. Hey, 170 million, everybody could just get a check for like $20 or something, you know? Just make everybody smile for a second. Everybody go out and get, well, nothing for $20, but I mean, something. Better than just. But instead, you know, the road pirates are out there. Every time I see somebody getting a ticket, I'm like, man, this is just the biggest laugh of all time. Same thing. I saw, it was all over social media. It was like an older lady getting felt up by some Muslim chick TSA agent. And I thought, isn't this the height of phlegm and just complete nausea? You are a slave in your own nation if, you might be a slave in your own nation if you are getting felt up by a TSA agent wearing a beekeeper outfit. Man, what a complete joke. Just complete hilarity. All right. So, from the sublime to the completely deranged. No, from the formerly great state of North Carolina to the seemingly booming, on fire, my goodness, I kind of wish I could move, state of Florida. Let's check Florida out, because this is obviously a state full of people that are not micro-brained pieces of phlegm. Here we go.
But what I'm most excited about is an announcement that we're going to make, that we're making now, which is that the Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them. All of them. Every last one of them.
I'll jump in here. Just some more mess I don't understand. This is some more hilarious kind of language. Kind of like the forever Trump apologists are going to say, he's working on this, he's working on... I'm like, dude, you're working on removing this? How about you sign a piece of paper and you say, we're not playing this retarded game anymore. It's not like working on it like you've got a road project, up I-95, like we're laboring on this project. It's not like... we're working on helping the hurricane victims. It's not like that. It's legitimately like we are saying we're no longer mentally handicapped morons that's going to go along with any sort of vaccine mandate in the state of Florida. Sign. It's done. Firme aquí. No más inyecciones. I mean, for real, man. It's not that difficult, folks. It's really not. Just like the flipping Epstein list. Remember that Pam Bondi's stupid? And she was all like, it's on my desk. It's on my desk. And then they sent out the other two stooges out there. They sent out Kash Patel and Bongino. Patel, who allegedly didn't put his hand on the Bible. It was some other book, I guess, whatever he's into. I mean, that's how whack it is in America now. It's kind of like, whatever you want to put your hand on, we're not a Christian nation, so if you want to put your hand on the phone book, a copy of Moby Dick, Bible, Bob DeBita, whatever, and that's how bleeped we are as a country. But, back to the hilariousness. Pam Bondi, I got him on my desk, and then they sent out the other three stooges, Larry and Moe, to come out there and say, what are you talking about? What list? There's no list. There's no client list. Epstein might not have even ever existed. That is the real that we are dealing with in 2025. That's why, again, I said this on the last show. My show used to have a far more serious bend to it, and I just got to the point where I could no longer sit up here, big suit and tie, and we're going to talk about these hardcore subjects. And I'm still going to have shows like that, but it's difficult to have shows like that when this is the news that there is to cover. I mean, I didn't make this up. I did not make up the fact that we have an alien picture and representatives going through that. I did not make up the fact that North Carolina completely conveniently lost millions of dollars and just, I guess, found them in a shoebox on the State House lawn. Oh my gosh, under $70 million. I did not make up the fact that this guy is trying to say it's really hard for us to come up here and say we're not going to have this mandate anymore. Really? I could do it. You give me a couple bills and I'll go up there and say it for you if that's difficult. I'll wear a nice suit, a nice tie. I like a skinny tie. I'm a real skinny tie guy. I hate fat ties. Makes you look like a clown. But I digress. All right, let's roll into some more stuff here because I want to cover this. I covered this aptly on my social media, but in case you missed it, I thought I'd roll to it again. Because here's what we got going down. I guess China, this is hilariously tongue-in-cheek. I guess China, what's his name? Xi Jinping. Fitting all the Chinese dragon. Yeah, Xi Jinping. Zhou Gigi was, I guess he was feeling really outdone by the parade that Trump had for our military a couple months back. So he decided he was feeling wholly inadequate, I'm sure. He's like, man, this is making me sad. All the fentanyl I've given you, all the money you've given me. We wouldn't even be a superpower if y'all hadn't started giving me money in the 1970s with Richard Nixon. And now we're just trading with a communist superpower that has nuclear capabilities and could easily wipe us off the blipping map, has 3 times our population. But it's no big deal, right? Because allegedly we have these scary nukes in the water that can just do what exactly? That remains to be seen, eh? All right, hit it. We're going to look at a little Xi Jinping action. And this is, I guess, what Chinese military is looking like these days. It looks so pretty, it might be AI. It does look very pretty, I was wondering that when I saw it myself. Like, this looks just beautiful. I mean, good night, nurse. Especially those wide shots. Those wide shots might be AI. Got a bunch of dudes yelling, but they're marching like a champion. I mean, granted, it's a commie bleep hole. If you don't do what you're told, then they'll not just put you in the hole, like they'll put you in a hole in the ground, as in muy muerto, hombre. I see. So yeah, man, that's what's looking like over there with Gigi. I wouldn't be following those clowns. So we got a bunch of people marching. Somebody's going, that's boring, John. Let's skip ahead, eh? All right, maybe so. I don't even know what. There's more marching. This reminds me of Stripes. Great movie with Bill Murray. More marching. Where's the part where the drones are getting revealed? The drones look crazy. Here's some artillery. Nice precision work, fellas. Yeah. Some dudes again. Anyway, I didn't give you the other version of this. There's several different versions of this. There's another version that shows all the ladies, and they actually look like ladies. Imagine that. They have like a military that includes ladies that actually look like ladies. They don't look like, you know what I'm saying, dudes. Yeah, they actually have females that look like females in the military that don't look like dudes. And I don't know. Here, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go out on a large limb. I'm thinking the Chinese military probably does not have any, or at least none that we know of the homosexual variety. And I know for a faggity fact that they do not have anybody that is repping some trans over there. I guarantee. Because I guarantee Gigi would be just, he would, away with you. You know, he'd say it in some sort of cool Chinese kind of lingo. He'd be like, you're dead to me. You know, that sort of thing. He'd be like, yeah, you ain't bringing, you ain't stapling stuff off and putting stuff on. And we darn sure ain't going to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So juxtapose that. So here we go. And I know somebody's going to try to say you're disparaging our military. Whatever. This is just reality, folks. It is what it is. At the end of the day, there's no sacred cows in my barn. So there is nobody right, left, center, anarchist, communist, Plato head, whatever, that I'm not going to criticize when you're doing something deranged. So this is juxtapose that to este. And I cut the sound on this because I pulled this off a site that had some sort of weird kazoo music in the back, and I thought that was just unnecessary. But yeah, this is what we had, I guess, in the DC parade. And I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, like, if you just show up to your local municipality, town, village, hamlet, or ciudad parade, and you just roll up to that parade and you see that kind of stuff, you're like, okay. I mean, I guess. So that's what we got delivered, boys and girls. That's what we got. So, yeah, I don't know. That's what we tried to show you, yeah. So that's exactly what we had to deal with, you know. That's their military parade versus our military parade. And somebody's going, well, we didn't want to show our good stuff, you know, because we're America. Our stuff's so much more advanced than everybody else's stuff. And we couldn't show you the good stuff, man. You know, it's like this bizarre, like, high school locker room mentality, you know. These are my shoes, but they're not my game shoes, you know. These are just my regular shoot-around shoes. My real shoes are cooler than these, man, you know. I've got, like, the starch white Jordans for the actual game shoes. These are just my shoot-around shoes. It's sort of like the lowbrow intellect I guess most of the American people have. I don't know, man. Hopefully that is legitimate. Hopefully we have this unstoppable, unmatched arsenal. We should, because we've got hundreds of bases all across El Mundo. We're spending more than other people, most nations combined. So I sure as bleep hope so. I hope the heck we got stuff that nobody's ever seen that really, you know, just dwarfs the firepower that we have seen. Because otherwise, we might be, what do they say in Full Metal Jacket? We're all in a world of, you know what they say. The stuff. Oh, man. So, I don't know. The whole reason I was thinking about all this today, I was listening to something all the way in the car today. I was listening to UK Subs 999 self-destruction, 999 self-destruct, something like that. Which made me think, yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with here, 999 self-destruction. Yeah. That might not be right. Maybe it's something else. That's what I got in my brain anyway. Because it seems to me that you've got different folks kind of pulling on different sides of the reins here. You've got RFK Jr. for, him being in the back pocket or front pocket or whatever of Rabbi Shmuley, having a big picture of that individual in his house. I mean, to me, that just speaks volumes. If you even voluntarily communicate with or look at or even want to Rabbi Shmuley, the body double for Leprechaun from the Leprechaun series. Leprechaun 1, Jennifer Aniston's best work by far, but I digress. Anybody who would voluntarily even entertain the notion of Rabbi Shmuley, I really have to question highly. So that being said, RFK Jr., in spite of all that, he's taking slings and arrows left, right, and otherwise. You got all the greats of the Communist Party under the guise of Democrats. You've got Bernie Sanders, who just sounds like a goober. It really does. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was up there today. I can't even do a good Bernie impression. Bernie Sanders was up there trying to rein in RFK. What a complete pile of refuse. So you had Bernie up there, and then you had Pocahontas herself, Elizabeth Warren. Both of these career criminals getting millions of dollars in kickbacks from the cult of pharmakia, the medical mafia, or as the pedestrians might know it, the medical pharmaceutical industry? Yeah, industry being the main word that you should take away from this mess. You should look into the Flexner Report, early 1900s, and how the Rockefellers basically paid their way into demonizing naturopathic and homeopathic medicine just so they could push their oil into the allopathic medical system. You might want to look into that if you haven't already done so. I mean, I've covered it ad nauseum on this show, but I know we got a lot of new listeners on this platform. So you might want to look into the Flexner Report and how the whole cult of pharmakia really grasp our society by the proverbial short hairs well over 100 years ago. So anyway, back to the point. On the one hand, you've got RFK Jr. taking slings and arrows from the high intellect, just unbelievable IQs of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. And then at the same time, you've got El Presidente de los Estados Unidos. Yeah, Señor T. Mr. T himself, having dinner. Again, our tax dollars at work. That's what really nauseates me the most out of all this. We're paying for these pus bags, these bipedal pieces of turds to eat in D.C. So we've got Mark the Cuck Zuckerberg, and we've got Captain Pink Sweater. These people should be coming soon to a gallows near you. But instead, we are paying for them to eat with our president in D.C. So again, you've kind of got the reins going in two different directions. If you remember old Mr. T from I guess it was last week. I was going to say a couple weeks ago, but I believe it was last week. When people were daring to talk about RFK Jr. coming out against the vaccine. You know the vaccine. Yeah, the big one, the old COVID jab. Yeah, the one that'll kill you dead in a hammer. The one that'll give you all kinds of myocarditis. The one that'll rewrite your DNA. All that good stuff. Remember that? This is the mess that Senor T has been peddling for how many years now? 5, 6? I don't even know. I've lost count. At least 5 years now. But yet we are to believe that this is somehow información nueva, like new information that Trump is just now beginning to Like, what in the world? This stuff's bad for you. The old Dennis Leary thing about the cigarettes. You know, people didn't know until they put this big warning label on the side. This stuff's bad for you. What? Like somehow Trump, the leader of the free world during Trump regime 1, when this whole thing rolled out, somehow just didn't have the information. Like you and I, general public at large, could find this information fairly easily. You know, easier than I could find my lost car keys. But the leader of the free world somehow just now figuring out, somehow riveting, mind-blown information that the jab might be bad. You know, the thing I've been pushing for 5+ years might be bad. You mean Fauci might be a bad guy? And next they'll be telling me Bill Gates is trying to buy up farmland and he's really a eugenicist fruitcake. What are you talking about? I can't believe this is startling information. Anyway, I believe it was last week, if not the previous, when Trump was addressing the press corps and somebody brought up RFK Jr. coming out against the COVID vaccine. And, you know, immediately Trump went into, I'm the greatest person alive. Like, that was the best thing we've ever done in American history. It was done on my watch, folks. It was Operation Warp Speed. It was the single greatest invention known to mankind. It pales in comparison to penicillin, pales in comparison to the telephone, the radio, the airplane, bipedal locomotion. Everything pales in comparison to the supreme greatness, the coup de grace of Operation Warp Speed. Single-handedly killing countless thousands, if not millions globally, thanks to this crap. I mean, it's... Tone deaf doesn't even begin to describe it. I mean, Beethoven could hear better than this, folks. I mean, good night, nurse. Stevie Wonder could see this, man. I mean, this is just complete hilariousness. But we're to believe, you know, in the last week, he's finally starting to backtrack just a little bit on Operation. Finally, he's getting the right intel. I mean, that's what InfoWars was saying. Finally, Trump's getting the right people around him. He's getting the right intel. I mean, what the? Like finally, this guy's a billionaire, leader of the free world, previous leader of free world, had the election stolen 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, it's like, just now he's getting the right people around him. That's the problem, I tell you. What in the? Come on, man. It just stinks. If that's really the case, I feel sad for everyone. I really do. What's that line in Billy Madison? We are all dumber for having listened to that dribble of nonsense. If that's really the case, if that's real, then we are all indubitably screwed. Okay? So... after a day of taking flack from commie windbags, after the health minister, RFK Jr., taken at least 1, I think 2 days of flack from people with a IQ lower than a gnat, Trump is going to, in turn, eat with criminals. That brought you into the clutches of the COVID scam. He should have had Fauci in there too. Where's old Fauci, man? Where's he at? He should have been in there eating with Bill and Zucky. They should have all just been hanging out together, I guess, like high-fiving people. You know, that stupid meme where it's all these reptilians laughing at you and just high-fiving at the newest nonsense that they're trying to convince the American people to believe. Yeah, they should have had Zuck the Cuck, Captain Pink Sweater, and assuredly Dr. Fauci. You know, he's Captain Death, and he killed millions of people with the AIDS scam. How many beagles is this piece of human garbage killed? Lord only knows. Same thing with primates. If you're in the southerly state of South Carolina, you'll know about Primate Island, or at least you should. That's funded by your tax dollars as well. That's another island off the coast where they procure primates to torture, just like the beagles that were tortured by that piece of human garbage, Dr. Fauci. So if all that wasn't enough, this was all like previous to his career as a death criminal, bringing you the COVID jab, bringing you 6 feet apart, bringing you, let's wear this face diaper, trying to publicly shame people on the airwaves, trying to shame people in Zuckerberg's Facebook. And then, of course, having the not so quite Dr. Pink sweater doing the same thing 8 days a week and twice on Sunday, all over the airwaves during the throes of the COVID scam. I tell you, folks, you really just can't make this stuff up. That's why the thrust of the show had to be a little bit more comedic. Because how can you really seriously cover this stuff? It just blows me away. Seriously cover this stuff while there's actually people out there that are just true believer apologists for anything and everything that Trump could ever possibly do. I mean, he could have had dinner with those people tonight, and I don't even want to say. I'm not going to say that. He could have showed up to dinner with these scumbags tonight in a pink tuxedo, wearing a Grand Poobah helmet from the Flintstones, and there would be true believer, dyed-in-the-wool neocon cucks in the Republican Party that would just bow down like it's 6G, 5D, whatever to the 10th power chess. This is all just a big plot, I tell you. This is really his scam. He's luring them in, you see. Yeah, that's it. He's luring them in because all these people aren't even real. All these people have already been killed in Guantanamo years ago. Do you remember the sealed indictments? Remember that time? Remember that time everybody got this weird nondescript manila envelope? Yeah, that was the time. That was the time. After that, they were whisked away to Guantanamo Bay. Quickly exit stage right. There were troops there and everything, but they weren't real troops. They looked like troops, but they were really undercover, whatever, Vatican troops from Israel. You know, the stupidest, most idiotic nonsense people will plug in to try to make this not what it is. I mean, it's so unbelievable. That's really where we're at. And this is the kind of apologist nonsense that you should expect from the clowns on the left. Like, this is the kind of mess that was said when Biden was falling down the stairs, a loner in pairs, making a slinkety sound, that sort of thing. Yeah, when Biden couldn't even hold his head up or complete a sentence, the left boobs were making every excuse in the world. And then, like, the right is doing categorically the same thing, and it's just whistling past the grave. He's doing a great job. Did you see the crime in D.C.? The crime in D.C. has plummeted. It's great. It's unbelievable. You can leave your house in D.C. now and not get killed. I was going to play this. Do I even have that clip? I don't think I do. I had another clip where Mr. T was saying, like, D.C. is a safe area now. And I'm like... So prior to us putting military on the streets in D.C. and actually rounding up scum, what would it be if it is now a safe area? Well, I mean, in every third world despot, or in all of these European nations that have been conquered by Muslim garbage, these places are called no-go zones. Yeah, they're all over Europe. There's all over Europe. There's areas of these once lovely, thriving, culturally rich European nations have now been transformed into no-go zones. There's whole areas you just can't go as a proverbial cracker, or there'll be a Muslim gang there to kill you. And the police ain't coming in to save you. And that's pretty much what we have here in America. They just call them democratically run cities. I mean, I didn't even pull this up, but Memphis, Tennessee is now number one in violence and crime, says the FBI statistics database. I mean, this was from an article like 3 days ago. I sent it to some family that just moved away from that mess hole. I grew up going to Memphis, Tennessee often. Last time I went, it looked like a demilitarized zone. Potholes abound. Every store from the big, box store to the corner grocery had legit armed security. I'm not talking like people with a taser or people with a can of pepper spray a la Dog the Bounty Hunter. We're talking legitimately armed individuals at the grocery at like 5 in the afternoon on a Thursday. That is Memphis, Tennessee, or that was Memphis, Tennessee, flipping 5 years ago. Heavens to Murgatroyd, what I'm going to have to go there in a couple months and see. I mean, so yeah, we do have no-go zones. They're called democratically run cities. You know, it's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Kensington district. It's San Francisco, where you have a poo map of human feces as to where not to go in the city. It's L.A. It's, I guess, D.C. up until now. It's Chicago. It's New York. It's pretty much every mess hole in a democratically controlled stronghold. St. Louis, Charlotte, Atlanta. I mean, we could just keep on running them down. Miami. You got some more for me? New Orleans. Same old song, same old song. Anyway, I'm going past my time. Better cut myself off, eh? All right, folks, I'll be coming back next week. In case you missed it, in case you're new to this, I'll be there, God willing. Microphone problems and cords not destroying me. 11:30 to 12:30, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Otra vez, clase. 11:30 to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's right. Until then, you can't do everything, but you can do something. Get out there, do your part, make a difference, and I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the anomic age.
Thank you for listening to The Anomic Age, a John Age project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to anomicage.com. That's ANOMICAGE.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to The Anomic Age.
Thank you.